and thanks for joining us on TV and Business Daily. I am Chiwendo Osisiago, and today we shall be discussing on assessing the level of compliance with COVID-19 lockdown in FCT. As part of measures aimed at curtailing the spread of the COVID-19 pandemic, the federal government of Nigeria has just ordered another 14-day lockdown state of Lagos, Ogun, and the FCT in addition to initial one of 14 days also. Going forward, we would also like to appraise the extent of compliance among businesses in the FCT, efficacy of enforcement, modalities, and possible post-lockdown steps to continue keeping the virus away from us. Our guest today is a lawyer, a consultant, and also a liaison with the Ministerial Task Force. You're welcome, Mr. Edache Felix.
Thank you.
Okay, well, before we go into details, let's take a short break. We'll be right back, so stay with us.
Corona pandemic by the Patriots Club of Nigeria. No country in the world is prepared for this challenge. The governor of New York is crying out for help. It currently has capacity for 53,000 intensive care unit beds, and current total need is about 140,000. New York State needs more money than the stimulus package provides. But there's a hole of about $15 billion, and the stimulus only provides for $3.8 billion for the state of the New York. UK is calling for 250,000 volunteer workers to assist with the deliveries to the vulnerable. The Spanish government is having to convert hotels into health facilities. The Italian Prime Minister cried openly as he strained to a wit's end. India has completely locked down 1.3 billion people in a bid to curtail the spread. The stories are appallingly scary. The information is terribly scary when we see our status, those of our public health system, and the level of information and acceptance of COVID-19 downtown. Please, let's imbibe safe and healthy practices. Wash your hands as often as possible, sanitize as much as possible, and ensure social distances are maintained. Please, and please, I can't shout out loud enough. Review your trips from over the last 3 weeks and contact check on people you would have met and those they've met with too. Self-isolate if necessary. We need to break the chain of transmission. Please call loved ones. Spread the love, care, and concern. Let's assure ourselves that we'll all pass through this and come out strong. COVID-19 is real and in Nigeria, just like every other country of the world. May God Almighty guide us through. By the Patriots Club of Nigeria.
Thanks for joining us again. Like I said earlier, we shall be discussing on the assessing the level of compliance with COVID-19 lockdown in FCT. Don't forget that you can call us on the number on your screen for contributions and questions, and you can also send in your comments via the comment section. Our guest is here in the studio to respond to all your questions. You're welcome again, Mr. Felix Edache.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, speaking on the assessing the levels of compliance with the COVID-19 lockdown in FCT, how would you assess the level of compliance here in Abuja?
In Abuja, in the city, I will rate it 98% compliance. But when you move into the suburb, you still have challenges. Challenges of awareness. It will amaze you that even at this point, a lot of people still believe COVID-19 is a scam. Yeah. And I'm dumbfounded when I have talk with people I rate as enlightened and educated, and they make such comments, and I am baffled. I know we are in trouble, because if people at that level can be talking in that manner, you can just imagine what becomes of those who are illiterate and uninformed. So we really have a big challenge in the suburb.
Okay, let's talk about those on the streets, those that are selling something on the streets. What is their fate?
Well, I just want us to have at the back of our mind that this is a crisis situation. A crisis that is meeting a nation that is unprepared. Even those ones who have some prepared in the sense of we're lacking basic infrastructure, medical infrastructures before the coming of this pandemic. We have seen the situation with other nations, like the so-called advanced nations, and you see what they are going through, having to face the situation, the difficulty, the challenge they are facing. US, for instance, you have death rates over 20,000 already, and that should call to mind the fate of our dear nation, Nigeria. It's something that have come upon us surprisingly. So when we talk about fate of people, we should just quickly recall that this is a crisis situation. What I tell people is, just imagine that those people are on the street and there is flood. Just imagine that they're on the street and there is earthquake. Just imagine they're on the street and there's an outbreak of war. What becomes of them? It's the same situation we find ourselves. This is a time that we should not only look unto government. If you are a Christian, a Muslim, or a pagan, if your religion talk about love, this is the best time to show that love. For 19, I tell you, we are Africans. Even scientifically, you can be hungry for 3 days and death will not come. 7 days, death will not come. But we are talking about an ailment that within days you are a different being. Especially if you are aged or you have underlying illness. So it's a painful situation we find ourselves, but we should just have to look around us and see who we can help. Thank you.
Okay, let's talk about we talked about the people on the streets. So are you saying that people are still going to market to sell their stores?
Well,
or the market is completely shut down?
For the FCT, the market is regulated now.
Okay.
You have market days, 3 days, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays for all FCT markets, which means the other days you are expected to stay at home. Those 3 days are allowed between 10 and 2, just for people to go in and get the essentials, restock your food stuff, and go back, stay at home. And to some extent, we have the market authorities comply. I give kudos to Abuja Markets Management Nigeria Limited. They have been up and doing. It will amaze you that even before the ministerial directives, they have already started sensitization in their markets. They have already made provision for hand wash. They have already had some level of enlightenment with the trader. So when eventually the ministerial task force came around, they saw a high level. I am happy that the Minister of State commended the preparedness, especially in Wuse and Gariki markets. And up to now, they are still advising. I think the challenge they are facing now is on those days that the market are open, they are still having challenge with getting the customers to observe social distance. They are trying to let people know now, look, don't, if you come to a shop and 2 people are already inside that shop, plus the trader, don't go in.
Okay.
Wait outside, let them finish the business. As the 2 comes out, another 2 can go in. So that in that shop, you can also observe social distance. Also, traders are being enlightened to wear their hand glove, especially you are dealing with food stuff. Be with your hand glove. And customers should also insist, if you want to sell, if I'm to buy from you, wear your hand glove. And I think, and your nose mask. These are basic things that we must put to practice. But on the average, I mean, holistically, I think I give kudos to the minister and his team, and also to Abuja Market Management.
Okay. Okay, don't forget that you can call us on 07032349054 for your contributions and also for your questions. Okay, I want to talk about those that are actually getting their, their income, their sort of income on a daily basis. Because so many people now, like the high rate of crime has increased. Looking at it now.
Yes.
So how do you intend, like, how do you expect them to cope?
Well, we have a big challenge. The Commissioner of Police, FCT, before now, had warned that there will be high rate of crime because of the lockdown and the hardship it's going to incur. The question is, anybody who is going into crime now actually had criminal tendency before now, because the person you are going to steal from is also facing the challenge.
Yeah.
Who is not a daily earner? I'm a lawyer. I mean, I'm facing challenge. No court is working.
Yeah.
No client will bring you briefs. Even if you call me now that your person is arrested and I go to the police station, what am I going to tell the police? The law say the police can keep you for 24 hours or 48 hours and take you to the nearest court. And there is no court near to the police right now.
So what do they do to criminals?
So you can, no, the police actually left with using their discretion.
Okay.
Because the law did not say they must release you. The law said the police should charge you to the nearest court. And as we speak, there is no court near the police. So what do we have? The majority of Nigerians are daily earners. Even those you call professionals, the Okada riders, they are all daily earners. But the truth is, if you've been having savings, at least it can take you for a while. We have challenges with those who may not have savings. I feel so much for the artisans who hardly, from somebody earning maybe 1,000 naira a day, it's difficult for him to have savings. So it's a big challenge. That's when what I said earlier comes in. Government should sit up. This is the time we need to feel the impact of the Ministry of Humanitarian Emergency. We have to feel NEMA. We have to, all those emergency agencies. This is when they have to come up. But unfortunately, we have seen philanthropists trying to donate food, and you see the same people you are having pity for attacking them. I am yet to confirm the story of what happened yesterday, where they were taking foodstuff to somewhere in Apo, and they were attacked. A few weeks ago, a philanthropist, a journalist who is also a philanthropist, was taking food to Grishi or somewhere here in Abuja. They were attacked. Somebody was stabbed. Somebody who was using her own money to give food to people. The car was broken. She was stabbed, and the foodstuff carted away. So when you now begin to look at it, and I've taken my time to observe some videos that are going viral. My interest is those behind the video. Who is doing the video? The person talking, or who is filming? Obviously, whoever is filming cannot be a poor man. To have an Android phone, have data, to do that level of thing, you cannot call yourself a poor man. And I look at the people who talk on those videos. You see obviously that this. So I will not, because of the situation, downgrade myself to spite the government. Who are you spiting? You like it or not, this is beyond any government. It's beyond any president. It's beyond any political party. In fact, I'm not even calling on anybody to be patriotic to Nigeria now. Be patriotic to yourself and your loved ones. Because, God forbid, if you have it today, you are not the only person in danger. Before it manifests, you must have met with your spouse, your children, your friends, your relatives. You may not know the amount of... I say, anybody with the virus is more dangerous than Boko Haram. Is more dangerous than ISIS. Is more dangerous. In fact, for me, it's like a Scud missile. Because you have the potential of bringing down so many. And it's a network. You give to one person, the next day, 100 people are down. So we really have to sympathize with ourselves and sympathize with the poor people around us. And that's why I come against, I differ with those who, for charity, are taking money to donate to federal government. You don't need to take that to federal government. The federal government already has international organization that will give to them. You want to tell me you don't know a poor man on your street? You don't know I looked at the National Assembly the other day. They say they are forsaking half a percentage of their salary. I said that is not necessary. You came from a constituency. Take your salary and go and give to your constituency. So you see people, you want to share gari or rice, you gather crowd. You are closing down market and you are gathering crowd. Well, I mean, who is doing this to Nigerians? I don't know. We just have to be sensible and think out of the box. There is a way you distribute this food and nobody will know you are sharing, but to the right people. It's not getting to the right people. The people, I see them giving money, they don't actually fall into that category. So it's something that was crafted at the beginning to achieve some political advantage, but now reality has come and it's not working that way. But like I said, it's not a time to cast blame. It's not a time to want to take advantage of what is on. It's a time to do your D2, I do my D2. Protect your territory, let me protect my territory. I think that's where we are.
Okay, some people are still having challenge in getting to their shops where they sell foodstuffs and all that. Because before they pass, they will actually ask them to show their ID card, and these people don't have ID cards.
Well, that's the problem. You see, when you have people who are recalcitrant in submitting themselves to an agreed norm, when a time comes, they will pay for it. For instance, over years, I had a chat with Abuja Market. Over the years, they have been trying to get traders to register, to have their ID card. This is when they need it. They don't have. Most of them don't have. They have unions. Most of them don't have the ID card of their unions. So you come out and in your car or on Okada and you tell the policeman you are a trader. The question is, where's your evidence? So that is actually a challenge. But what I think, if I am to advise, what I will advise is, most of the markets are too far from residents. The market in Abuja is not enough. So if we can copy or adopt what Lagos is doing, I think it will help. The schools are not in place. Use the school fields through the Abuja market management and decentralize the market temporarily. You get people in any of the school field in any location, liaise with Abuja market management. They get the traders who are resident with that locality but have shops in their market. They take their goods to that place, and by the time you have it, you have less people wanting to come into the central markets, and with that, at least the traders will be making some money. And so I think that will be the solution. If not, it will continue to be a challenge that we'll grapple with.
Okay, thank you. Okay, before we go on a quick break, let's take another question. Okay, we have observed that the FCT Ministerial Task Force has been working around the clock in ensuring maximum compliance, right? So how would you rate their efforts?
Wow, great. I give kudos to the minister. I give kudos to Mr. Atta, who have been having, a young man who have been having a sleepless night. Sometimes I catch him on videos, 5 a.m., 4 a.m., he's on the street trying to sensitize and enforce. If I am to rate, I think they have done excellently well. The people who have problem with are policemen, military men generally. Let me not single out policemen. Military generally, law officers who are supposed to help in enforcing this law. they are the ones giving problem to these people. You see them, not the ones in the task force, not the ones in the team enforcers. Initially, they thought it was a normal paying opportunity to take bribe. Actually, got information of, but I think within the first few days that was taken care of. Now the challenge we have is there is a lockdown. I wear my uniform, bring out my car, I become automatic taxi driver.
Oh.
I get passengers. So if the vehicle means of transportation are not there, people will get discouraged from wanting to come out. But the uniform men make themselves ready transporters. So they are not transporting human beings, they are transporting COVID-19. That is what they should know. For me, it's like assisting your enemy against your nation. They should be ashamed. You are in uniform assisting your enemy against your nation. That is how I rate them.
But getting to work, using transport is actually very difficult for people these days. And, health workers are allowed to work, media are allowed to work, security personnel are allowed to work. So how do they transport themselves to work when they don't have cars?
Well, for instance, we just have to get sincere with ourselves. Any organization that runs essential service, you know the situation you are in, your service is exempted, that means your staff can come to work, but you know that they don't have car, provide for them. For instance, let me give you an example. The FCT minister has provided buses for the category of staff that are expected to come to work in strategic location. They come out, I think, by 6 a.m. to pick them to work. All they say is, come out early so that you don't miss this. If you know you are working for FCT, you have been informed, why won't you wake up early and join them to get that ride to office and back? For police or any other security agency, they should be able to make arrangement for their personnel to be at work. I think any organization that cannot provide means of transportation for her staff at this moment is not a serious organization. It's not that organization should be shut down. They are not needed for now. Because you cannot say people should stay at home and the other person should come to work because the service is needed and you will not provide means of transportation. For those who have their cars, no problem. You have the filling station, you can go buy your fuel. But for those who do not have, you know the category of staff you have. Make arrangement for them. Even if it means the MD or whoever is in charge donating his car for the purpose, so be it. It's a desperate time that calls for desperate measures.
Okay, going to work now, is ID card enough?
Depends on where you're going.
Okay.
For a journalist, ID card is enough.
Because the time I was actually driving, and when they asked for my ID card, I showed them. They were asking for another thing.
No, that was the initial stage.
Okay.
The initial stage, even the officers were not informed. For instance, I had an experience before the exemption card came out. I showed my ID card and they said, no, everywhere is closed. Where are you going? I had to school them before moving on.
Yeah.
You understand? But after a while, you get them to understand. But then again, we have a bigger problem. Nigerians abuse things easily. Why would they ask a journalist to bring extra proof? Because so many people who are not journalists are claiming to be journalists. Do you understand?
Yes.
So many people who don't know what paracetamol is are claiming to be doctors. They just go where they can get stethoscope or anything that belongs to the doctor and hang it. The police will say, where is your ID card? And other policemen who are those ones who are not really enlightened will say, where is your roster, duty roster? How can a doctor come out with duty roster? So we had that challenge at the beginning, but I think things the reality is actually dawning on many, but we still have a long way to go. What we should be talking and draw our attention to is, do you want it to get to the stage of Italy, US, Spain, when you don't have what they have? I was watching Trump last night, and he was talking to the governors we have more than enough ventilators. Please let me know if you need them. And it struck me immediately. Can President Buhari say the same thing? No. Rather, you have a president who is waiting for somebody to donate. We are not on the same page. We shouldn't give opportunity for this thing to go beyond where it is. I saw another video of, I don't know, it was in Cuba, one of those third world countries. Corpses littered the street. A family lost the head, their father. It took them more than 1 week to be able to go and bury him. They have to start a new cemetery. In fact, some of the gory pictures we see, I don't pray it happens in Nigeria.
Okay.
Let it not come near there.
So, on your own perspective, after these 2 weeks again, lockdown, you think there will be another one after these 2 weeks?
What I think now doesn't matter anymore. What you and I think doesn't matter anymore.
Okay.
We have to face the reality.
Yeah.
If, for instance, Abuja, the curve was flattened last week, not just flattened, it started going down. But yesterday, we were hit with 2 cases. So that has twisted our curve. You don't know, I don't know what report will come out after today. The question is not what I think or what you think. The question is mind preparation. Let's shift from material preparedness. At the beginning, I was looking at how much I have, how far it can take me.
Yeah.
Do you understand? But I've shifted from that position.
Yeah.
It's a preparation of mind now. What if it is me? What can I do so that it won't be me? What can I do so that it will not touch my neighbor, my children? That's where it is now. So if the curve does not get better after 2 weeks, we have no option but to go for a longer shutdown.
Okay.
I think what the government has done, which I ascribe to, if you tell people indefinite,
yeah, it's better, right?
it will get them more disillusioned, it will get them more worried. But when you say 2 weeks, the first 2 days I may be bitter, but after I spent 2 days. So let's keep shifting. But the truth is, let's be prepared. Yeah. Let's be prepared for a longer shutdown. Let's be prepared for a longer shutdown. Before now, Trump was saying before the end of April, he gave one shot, but I don't think he's talking that way anymore. We have countries with all they have, they are already talking about end of June. But we have been lucky so far, and God is actually in love with Nigeria.
Yeah.
If not, if you actually look at the rate of infection and fatality, 10 is a huge number. To lose 10 people is not an easy thing. Lose 10 people to what you don't know is not an easy thing. But then if you compare with other nations, that within that space of time, between their first index case, 2, 3, let's say 1 month after their first index case, they are not where Nigeria is. Not that we are doing anything special, but just God chose to have mercy on us.
And people should not forget that health is their wealth. Okay, let's take a quick break, and after we'll continue. So stay with us.
Broadcast network committed to serving you the very best in online and offline television programming. Situated in the serene environment of Guzape, Abuja FCT, TVN, as it is fondly called, caters to a wide variety of audience via carefully orchestrated mind-blowing programs in the areas of fashion, business, politics, entertainment, religion, movies, food and health, culture and lifestyle, events around the globe, sports and foreign news. Whatever your inclination, we've got you completely covered with programs like Issues of the Moment, The Patriot, Daybreak Nigeria, Matter Africa, TVN Business Time, healthy living from the cradle. Stay inspired. Entertainment gist, movie hour, hits paradise, among others. All designed to keep you thoroughly informed, entertained, at the edge of your seats and yearning for more. A tour around our domain will reveal a highly dedicated staff force and a state-of-the-art facility and equipment for high-definition quality broadcast, making our station your #1 choice in advertising your business and propagating your ideas. We are currently on NightComSat doing our test transmission for takeoff in the nearest future. Television Nigeria is located in Nigeria at Television Nigerian House, Guzape Hilltop Mansion, beside Guzape White House, Guzape Abuja FCT, and in the United Kingdom at 45 Ancient House, 48 Aerodrome Road, Beaufort Park, Colindale, London.
Thanks for joining us again, and in case you're just joining us, it's TVN Business Daily. Like I said earlier, we're discussing on assessing the level of compliance with COVID-19 lockdown in FCT. And of course, my guest is here in the studio is a lawyer who has been discussing with us. And I said, don't forget to call us on 07032349054 for your questions and of course your opinions. Okay, my next question for you, sir, is like, what likely palliative may government consider for businesses in the FCT expected to be shut for 1 month? Their taxes, electricity, and all that.
Well, I will advocate a complete waiver of taxes for a period of time. Okay. It's not easy to have business shut down for 1 month. It's not easy.
Yeah.
So I will advocate for a complete waiver. If you have a business shut down for 1 day, you're lost is about a week. So having it shut for 1 month, we should be thinking of tax waiver for 6 months. So, and other palliative must come in. The PHCN or the discos must allow electricity supply and to be free to let them for 2, 3 to 4 months leave out bills. For residential, they could leave 2 months. But for business premises, they can leave it for like 4 months. So that, I know they too are in business, but I think they have made much money over the years. They can't quantify how much they made through the estimated bill. So this is the time to spend the money on the nation, put the money back to this country. And beyond that, the government must agree with herself. Yeah. Let people stop lying to the president. They don't have record. They don't have any register anywhere that will comprehensively capture the poor people in this country. So let them think outside the box. Let me tell you, the NEPA, PHCN staff, they know the area poor people are. Liars with them, they take bills to poor people. From the billing alone, they know which area is inhabited by poor people. Liars with them, let them lead you to go and give food to those poor people. The councillors, the House of Rep, all representatives, they know who is poor in their vicinity. I'm not saying hand it over to them. Liars with them, drop the borderline of political party. If you come to a zone, a ward, and it's an ABGA member that is popular there, drop your pride. Call on him. Show me the poor people here. That is what they should do. That they are lying. They don't have any register, any data anywhere. I have just told you that the country for over years, since 1960, have no census, a perfect census. Yeah. When would they generate a register? I have had occasion where things, I've witnessed occasion where things are actually prepared for the poor. Only for the rich to hijack it. Okay,
I think we have a caller here. Hello, good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Sorry, what's your name and where are you calling us from?
Yes, my name is Osikeni. I'm calling from Maraba.
Okay. So what's the contribution or what's the question?
Yeah, thank you very much. I've been following up Barrister Dati, very good one. And as for the efforts the FCT has put in place. But what I want to ask is in the area of stakeholder engagement in all of this. I know that this is a pandemic that has come to take us unawares. But of course, I have also seen the FCT Minister of State engaging with traditional rulers just yesterday. But there is civil society, there are leaders of various strata, leaders of these market unions, before the market. I think they should have been engaged to have actually been part of this whole thing, because it is not only about pandemic. We just need to be putting efforts to forestall future reoccurrence. He made a good point with the issue of identification of all of these vendors. It's something that we should have done before now with the trade unions. So what I'm actually asking is that what is the place of stakeholder engagement for sustainable enforcement of these measures to curtail COVID-19, and also for us to forestall future occurrences of such. And I also expect that even if the curve is flattened, in the next 6 months, 1 year, there must be that consciousness to ensure that these things don't come up again. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think he has spoken well, and what he has said is a concern of many, and I think is one of the things that the Situation Room has taken to the Minister already as recommendation, this stakeholders engagement. But like I said, it's not as if these facts are not known, but we have a problem with ourselves. We have a problem with the way we reason, the way we think. Like I said, this is not a time to look at your political divide, your class divide. So when you now begin to look at trade union as purely activists and all that, no, this is the time you need them. I saw a woman, I don't know what she belonged to, but I saw her video where she was stopping military people who were carrying passengers and all that, and she was giving this same lamentation that you cannot do this palliative without taking the NGOs along. The traditional ruler alone cannot handle this. There are people who are not in your community but are in tune with the affairs of your community more than you. So let everybody be brought on board. Bring everybody on board. This is a time, like I said earlier, if in a particular location, the man who is popular there is a PDP chieftain or ABGA chieftain, drop his political party, call him as a person and say, look, we need to give this to your area. It is not, thank God, no election is around the corner that you say, I am doing it for electoral electioneering. It is purely an emergency situation. There are some, go through the religious bodies, go through the churches, the Islamic faith and all other religion that are around. God, it's a time for everybody to, there are people who, you'll be amazed, there are people who really want to help in this situation, but they don't even know how to go about it. There are people who have the money to buy food for them. They don't even know how to go about it. For instance, I met somebody the other time who lives in Metama. I was telling him about Nyanya. He said he has never been there. And he has been in Abuja for more than 12 years. So for such a person, for him, if he wants to give to the poor, how does he start? So we need, and you may have somebody who is in the NGO or any other agency who knows such people, and they can direct the person. You need to really bring everybody on board.
Okay, our time is up already, and we have a lot of callers. Probably next time we'll be able to answer their questions. Okay, thank you so much, Barrister Fedashik, for coming on TV and Business. And that's what you have for you today. And don't forget that your health is your wealth. So stay safe.
Stay at home.
Yes, stay at home.
Cover your nose. Yes. Protect yourself and protect your neighbor.
Very important, yeah. All right, that's what you have for you today. And don't forget that you can follow us on all our social media platforms, on Facebook, on YouTube, and on Twitter at Television Nigeria for more COVID-19 updates. Thanks for watching.